We continue our working day, and now I give the floor to the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine Main Intelligence Department, Vadym Skybytskyi, current situation and tendencies on the temporarily occupied areas of Donbas and Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Good afternoon, everyone. And today we traditionally conduct a briefing on the events in the 80 area and the occupied regions of Donetsk and Luhansk oblasts. During the week, the developments of the situation are military clashes in Slavyansk and Donetsk and Mariupol area, also a continuation of violations of ceasefire and Minsk agreement by Russian forces, and also accumulation of ammunition and fuel and lubricants near the line of confrontation, and also activization of reconnaissance activities and the use of air drones. During the week, it was observed 387 shellings of Ukrainian positions with the use of 122 and 152 millimeter artillery systems. The highest intensity of fire is observed in Zaitsevo and Avdiivka. During military clashes, there are some shellings of civilians by the enemy, and as a result of shelling Zaitsevo, 10 houses were destroyed. And the enemy tries to hide its activities and prepare to the military actions, and they do not allow the representatives of SMM or ACE members to the sites. The observers of AC mission were detained by the representatives of 11th Detached Regiment near the filtration station, and the enemy tried to hide heavy weapons there. So, according to the data of Ukrainian intelligence service, there were some 32 facts of violation of Minsk agreements observed, connected with withdrawals of ammunition and military equipment. In the 15th kilometers zone, artillery systems of 100 millimeter caliber, 11 facts, 67 tanks, and also in a 25 kilometer zone, there were some 100 millimeter artillery systems. This information was provided to OSCE mission. And at the end of March, the 1st and 2nd Army Corps activated reconnaissance activities with the use of drones. Starting from 28th of March till the 7th of April, there were 11 flights of drones and for spotting the fire. And on the 28th of March, Granat 1 air drone was brought down, and this time it was brought for special examination. Such drone is produced only in the Russian Federation and is used by Russian military forces. This drone spotted the enemy fire in the real-time mode, and it is understandable from the fact that the fire stopped right after it fell. Main intelligence department identified that this drone belongs to the 7th Detached Motorized Brigade, and Alexander Bushuev took the order, and General Nikiforov didn't allow Colonel Bushuev to carry out this work, and according to the results of the verification, Bushuev.
So that commission, which was appointed to check his activities, and it found out that he not only disguised the losses of the drone, but also the droning of some combat machines during military exercises, and due to this, the his direct leader provided him with negative characteristics when he wished to enter the Academy of the General Staff, and now the center of territorial troops of the southern military county of Russia made decision is considering to send him to Baikal region. Also, the number of Russian losses in the territory of Ukraine continues to grow, and Putin ordered to keep this in secret. From the beginning of the year, the losses of the regular Russian officers in occupied territories of Donetsk and Luhansk Oblast amounted to 103 killed servicemen and 98 heavily wounded officers. In order to hide these losses, the Russian leadership says that these were losses in result of military exercises. Thus, they hold 6 large-scale military exercises in the southern military region, and also the exercises of the airborne troops. Also, for example, recently they used the airborne brigade exercises in Crimea on April 1st, and they involved more than 400 servicemen. Also, besides that, trying to hide the real losses in Donetsk, the Russian party constructed special objects for storage and identification of the bodies of killed servicemen. They even had brought special DNA identification lab. Also, the Chief Intelligence Department of the Ministry of Defense continues to identify the data about generals and officers of Russia involved in criminal offenses in Ukraine. Thus, today we report about the leader of the 58th Army of the Southern Military Region, Major General Gorolov Andrei Viktorovich, who was the commander of 1st and 2nd Army Corps. Also, the commander of the 1st Army Corps at that time was General Major Zusko Mikhailo Stepanovich. He used the nom de guerre Orlov. What is the situation? The situation remains without changes. At 16:30 we stopped shellings and stopped fire. And what about Ukrainians? They stopped shelling. Did you shell them? I keep everybody in for alarmed situation. What about losses? Take the boxes for voting and go along the trenches. Okay, we will supply train for you after 10. Okay, please report me in the morning. Will you stay in Novocherkassk or Rostov? I'm not in Rostov. I'm in Большой Log. First of all, this audio recorded text provides evidence that the Russian troops are present and were present in the occupied territories, but I would like to draw your attention to the fact that this dialogue happened just on the eve of so-called referendum about the independence of the Donetsk Republic. From this audio file, you can easily understand that Russian occupational troops directly participated in voting. This creates a direct threat in case of implementation of Minsk agreements and those requirements that Moscow tries to put forward today. They are unacceptable. Only after complete restoration of control over Ukrainian border and only after complete withdrawal of Russian military forces from Ukraine, any local elections could be possible. Thank you very much. That's all the information. Irina Shevchenko, Liganet, could you please mention once again the losses of Russian troops during the last month near Avdiivka? We calculated all the Russian losses for the first quarter of this year. As for Avdiivka and split by regions, we continue to work and try to calculate now. The calculation methodology is quite difficult. We calculate only those who were killed and who were heavily wounded. About those who were just wounded without classification of the degree of wounds, but that's almost impossible. During the last month in Donetsk Oblast, there were 13 people lost and 90 people wounded. We believe that those data are do not look reliable, and could you please confirm or not confirm them? By the way, the calculation of dead and wounded is extremely difficult, and we use all possible sources. So this was about the Russian regular military officers, not about militants. Yes, you are right. Thank you, Cinder. Now for the questions, we will wrap